Spouses Dr. Jono, Maliga and Anilin Dela Cruz. Maliga versus spouses Abraham N. TINGAO and Bashir TINGAO, G.R. number 211089. In fact, between February 2009 and October 2012, petitioner Anilin Dela Cruz Maliga obtained a series of loans from respondent de Majorang Unti Jr. The verbal contract of loan was initially for 110,000 pesos, with a monthly interest of 15%. The proceeds of the loan received by Anilin was 93,000 pesos after Unti deducted the first monthly interest of 15% in advance. Thereafter, Anilin obtained further loans from Unti. Even as Unti increased the interest to 25% per month, Anilin continues to pay until she could no longer do so, even the interest. Despite Anili's predicament, Unti continued to demand payments from her. In 2009, Anilin also obtained a loan from respondent spouses Abraham N. TINGAO and Bashir TINGAO. The verbal loan transaction was for 330,000 pesos with an agreed monthly interest rate of 10%. Spouses TINGAO released the proceeds of the loan after deducting the advance interest for 1 month amounting to 33,000 pesos. Anilin tried her best to religiously pay the interest on the said loan. Sometime in early 2013, however, Dr. Jono, Maliga, Anilin's husband, discovered the alleged usurious loan transactions of his wife. Dr. Maliga also learned that Anilin had been using his personal checks and the checks of his pharmacy to pay the loans to Unti and spouses TINGAO. By Dr. Maliga's computation, Anilin's total payments to Unti had already reached 8,660,250 pesos for interests alone, despite the principal amount of her loan being only 1,965,000 pesos. On the other hand, Anilin's payments to spouses TINGAO had supposedly reached the amount of 1,452,000 pesos on interest alone. Dr. Maliga thus asked his wife to stop paying Unti and spouses TINGAO. However, respondents continued to demand payments from Dr. Maliga and Anilin, prompting them to file separate complaints before the Sharia District Court against respondents. Petitioners prayed for the extinguishment of the loans contracted by Anilin, as well as the refund or restitution by respondents of all excess payments she had made. Issue: whether or not the Sharia District Court has jurisdiction over the complaint. Held, jurisdiction of the court is conferred by law and is determined from the allegations in the complaint and the character of the relief sought. Jurisdiction is the power of a court, tribunal, or officer to hear, try, and decide a case. It is conferred by law. Absent a statutory grant, the actions, representations, declarations, or omissions of a party will not serve to vest jurisdiction over the subject matter in a court, board, or officer. In law, nothing is as elementary as the concept of jurisdiction, for the same is the foundation upon which the courts exercise their power of adjudication, and without which no rights or obligations could emanate from any decision or resolution. It is settled that to determine which court has jurisdiction over the action, an examination of the complaint is essential. The nature of an action, and which court or body has jurisdiction over it, is determined based on the allegations in the complaint, regardless if the plaintiff is entitled to recover upon all or some of the claims asserted therein. The averments in the complaint and the character of the relief sought are controlling. Once vested by the allegations in the complaint, jurisdiction also remains vested irrespective of whether or not the plaintiff is entitled to recover upon all or some of their claims. The jurisdiction of Sharia district courts includes the matters that are enumerated in Presidential Decree 1083, Article 143. Original jurisdiction. 1. The Sharia District Court shall have exclusive original jurisdiction over XXD all actions arising from customary contracts in which the parties are Muslims, if they have not specified which law shall govern their relations. Generally, jurisdiction is determined by the statute in force at the commencement of the action, unless a statute provides for retroactive application. Once jurisdiction attaches, it continues until the case is finally terminated. Since this case was filed before the effectivity of Republic Act 11,054 on August 10, 2018, and Republic Act 11,054 did not provide for retroactive application, Presidential Decree 1083 remains to be the applicable law of this case insofar as jurisdiction is concerned. Under Article 1431 of Presidential Decree 1083, the Sharia District Court has original jurisdiction over the complaint if it is sufficiently alleged that 1. The action arose from a customary contract, 2. The parties are Muslims, and 3. The parties have not specified which law shall govern their relations. Thus, the Sharia District Court has jurisdiction over the subject matter of the complaint.